to our top story, which we're following for you today. It is the funeral preparations, the official funeral preparations underway for the 21 teenagers who lost their lives at Scenery Park at that tavern down in East London. Just to remind you of where we are on this, we understand 2 of them were buried yesterday, 2 are going to be buried today, 2 tomorrow, 13 on Saturday, and 2 on Sunday. Let's head back down to reporter Pulele Tswiti-Jones, who's also on this story for us this morning. And there you are for us, Pule, I beg your pardon, VOS somewhere else at the moment. It looks like the formal program going to be getting underway a little bit later, and the president also going to be speaking. But that itself has drawn a little bit of controversy, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And what we understand is that today main focus is just about this being a symbolic tribute as well. We'll be joined by family members and, of course, friends, guests, and, of course, like you've said, the president. But we've also seen that statement from the ANC Youth League, which has condemned some of those statements in which were negative towards the president, not welcoming him here at the event today. But the ANC Youth League says that the president should be welcome, as this is a very tragic event that had happened, and that they also will be spending time with the family. This is one event that should be respected peacefully. So, but most importantly, this also draws us back to about 2 decades ago, Gareth. Did you remember the issue or the incident that had happened in Chatsworth as well, where a nightclub also was at the center of the spotlights, where young minors as well, who were there from the age of 13 to about 25, who lost their lives during the tragic event. Also as well in Khayelitsha in just about 2015, where there were young people who lost their lives as well, who were at a tavern as well. And now we're here in about 2022, where we're seeing this tragic event having happened at Enyobeni as well in Eastern Cape. So this speaks volumes in terms of compliance, and in terms of, are some of these taverns or nightclubs actually within the proper position and prescripts of the law to be complying and ensuring that they work according to respecting the law. Joining us now, we're going to be speaking to the one of the officials from the eNCA Trading Board, who is going to be telling us more about those prospects of compliance and whether what have they learned from this tragic event that has taken place in the Eastern Cape. I'm joined by Laking Timanu and eNCA this morning. Thank you very much, Timanu, for joining us. Now, maybe if we can just speak about some of the lessons that can be drawn from this tragic event that we've seen. I just made reference to some of the past old, sadful events that also took place, such as the one in Chatsworth and the one, of course, in Khayelitsha in 2015. It seems as though every 5 years or so we're experiencing such events. What is the problem here?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Look, it's got to stop. This tragic incident that we have witnessed in Scenery Park and Enyobeni Tavern, should be a wake-up call for all of us, civil society, communities, but most importantly, the liquor traders. We ought to be able to take responsibility. We ought to be able to support our communities. We ought to be able to work together with our communities and society. This tragic incident must not be swept, under the carpet. It should not just be an event that takes place and we forget about it. We need to be able to learn from it. But we can only be able to fight the issue of responsible consumption of alcohol and responsible trading if we are able to respect each other. We feel that as liquor traders, we needed to have done better. As we know that, it takes a village to raise a child. We feel that we didn't play our part as liquor traders to be that villager that raises our kids. As we know that people look up to us, in the townships as business people, and now we've let our communities down because of the action of one person, one trader who decided to put the profits instead of the lives of our people.
You speak about one person who decided to put the profits in terms of, or rather in front, and neglecting the lives of the people. I mean, in the president's letter this week, he speaks about that as well, very harshly, saying this is something that should be looked into. In terms of playing oversight role, what are some of the things you've picked up? And when you speak to some of the community members, they're complaining that this is not the only tavern. There's just a lot of them that are actually operating and are just turning a blind eye to the laws as well.
No, of course we understand that this is not just an isolated incident in terms of minors being allowed to access alcohol. We know that there are traders out there that are selling to minors And we've reached out to law enforcement officials. I had a long meeting last night with the Minister of Police, who are committed to working with us, working with various liquor boards to make sure that anyone who does not comply with the liquor laws faces the full might of the law. And if it means that they must lose their licenses, so be it. We cannot allow liquor traders to operate with impunity. This incident has put a negative light on the industry, on a sector that supports a lot of jobs. It's as if we are now an unwanted cousin simply because of the action of a few, and we condemn that. And we are going to, as we close ranks and work with law enforcement officials, we are going to be reporting, on any non-compliance that we pick up in our societies, in our communities. We cannot allow to have a tavern operate without following the regulations and the license conditions as it pertains to how they sell alcohol.
Maybe just take us through a view of what you've picked up. Have you seen an unwarranted, concerning pattern of most taverns actually not operating within the prescripts of the law, or not adhering to the policies which would have been, accompanied by that liquor license?
So we have seen, for example, during lockdown and restrictions that the alcohol industry had to face, that our liquor traders actually are complying. We ran a lot of programs across the country that encourage our traders to comply so that we could retain the right to sell alcohol even in those difficult times when we had to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. So we are aware and we are confident that the majority of our liquor traders are compliant. But our worry is that those that are not complying seem to amplify their actions in such a way that it puts a negative spotlight back into our sector.
Lucky, maybe just a quick one before you go. What's the latest here? I know that you had opened a case against the owner of Enyobeni. Have you received any update from the police as to what is going to happen next?
Yeah, we do understand that the Eastern Cape Liquor Authority had opened a case against the outlet owner, and we're still waiting to hear what those charges that he will face will be if the police do decide to actually profile charges against the outlet owner. But as it stands now, we do not know any information in terms of any developments in that regard.
Dimani, thank you very much for joining us this morning on eNCA from the Liquor Board Trading Association as well. But maybe just a quick reference to outside. What we had seen is that some of the community members had began trickling in, Gareth, but we saw a lot of security surveillance as well. Members of the South African Police Service as well making their way into the venue, just making sure all checks are in place, as you can just see outside there. Those are the visuals from just a few meters away from the marquee that has been rented up, and you can see from the gate that's the current flow of business that's been taking place here. Some guests also making their way inside the venue.
For the moment, Pulele Tweety Jones, thank you very much from Scenery Park, where this mass funeral is going to be taking place today. Just to remind you, though, we need to be very clear on this. This is a symbolic funeral. There are going to be private funerals held by each of the individual families. The largest number of funerals will be taking place on Saturday. Our team will stay on top of this Enyobeni tragedy as the family and the country and indeed international media picking up on this story as well. The formal program, according to what I'm seeing from government, the program proper getting underway at 9 o'clock this morning with the playing of the South African national anthem. After that, the program will get underway, and of course you can expect live coverage of that here on eNCA and also eNCA.com.